It's really a treat to take this off and on because it's quite a bit easier than the older model. Nobody wants to bend over every time that they're turning this thing on and off.
Hey, what's happening? Barnaby here. So you want to know more about the JET dust collection system? Well, it's got a 1.5 horsepower motor creating 1100 CFM of suction, and as far as particle containment, 86% of 1 micron, 98% of 2 microns. So let's talk about putting the tool into the hand of a real person to test it out, because that's what we like to do here at toolselect.com. That person is David Winnick. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Jerry?
I'm all right. So tell us what you do in life.
Well, I build custom trailers, specifically Airstreams, and my shop also designed Airstream's 75th anniversary trailer.
All righty. Well, I've done a lot of remodeling, and that's what you're doing to these trailers. So dusty work, that.
It can, and these do come in handy.
Yeah, so now you've had one of these before, like a really older version, right?
I do. I have like a 17-year-old version of this dust collector, but it doesn't have this pleated canister on the top. It's a bag unit. So I really wanted to see what the difference would be between these two units.
Okay, so what sort of things do you have it hooked up to?
Have it hooked up to a large table saw, a radial arm saw, and a chop box. Okay,
so when you turn it on, first of all, let's get a sense of the power and the noise of this thing. That's some power,
It's got some noise, yeah.
Yeah. Now, is that about on par with the other jet you have?
Yeah, it's the same sound, and you know, a table saw is pretty loud as well. So, would I object to the sound? I don't object. It's part of having a shop.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about dust collection. Is this radical new technology versus the cloth bag?
Well, yeah, it's a heck of a lot better idea. The cloth bags, it can't trap everything because it's just a weave. So I wanted to see, is there really much difference between having this canister with this pleated filter as opposed to fabric? And there was a heck of a difference.
Yeah, now my concern would always be clogging. Does that happen with this?
Well, it can, but they have this clever paddle system on it where you turn it like this, and their fingers that rake against the pleats, and whatever's trapped in here against the filter will drop down into the bag. So you can extend the life of the filter by using this pretty regularly.
Okay, you know, in the literature, when they're talking about the Vortex cone on this, they say that it drives the chips down through. They don't circulate up here and clog the filter. Did you do anything where you were creating big chips?
Yeah, we did. We used a spade bit and a drill to create a lot of big chips. And, you know, I think that, as with my older one too, I think they're going to just rush right to the bottom of the bag.
Okay. Well, and speaking of the bag, it seems that, well, plastic versus cloth, I mean, you ever concerned about tearing with something like this?
Well, yeah, I was wondering about that, actually, but the bags are pretty heavy, and they lock into this, into the bottom of this drum pretty securely, and it's, as opposed to the other dust collector, it's really a treat to take this off and on because it's quite a bit easier than the older model. And I suppose if you want to spend, I don't know, 25 bucks or so on 5 bags and put a twist tie on them and chuck them every time they're full, you can, but I'd dump it. And I think this bag will last a long time.
Okay.
It's pretty stout.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, as you're, you know, pushing the machine around and stuff, I see that it moves a bit. Is that what your other jet did?
No, it actually not. And that, I'm kind of wondering about that too, because even without this filter on it, this thing's rocky, and my old one doesn't rock so much. So something was changed down the line somewhere. But I don't, you know, is it a safety factor, or is it going to fail? I don't think so.
Well, it's got the wheels on it, and I guess you could consider maybe taking this with you if you had a big job someplace.
Yeah, if you wanted to bring it to a job site, you certainly could.
Okay, and you know, let's get down onto the electronics down here.
Yeah, it's a 110 motor. If you wanted to wire to 220 in the shop, you could do that. And you know, there were a couple of things about this I didn't care so much for, like the cord length. I think this tool's retails for about 650 bucks. You know, you could put an 8-foot or a 10-foot cord on this. The first thing we did in the shop was find an extension cord because we couldn't find an outlet for it.
Right.
And you know, I don't think that they can do anything with the switch. To make UL approval, it's got to be in a safe position, and that's about the only spot on this device. But nobody wants to spend every time that they're turning this thing on and off to bend over. When this goes back to my shop, I'll remove this, and it'll go into electrical box, and I'll mount it under the rail of my fence.
Sure.
So when I go to my saw, I'll hit 2 buttons, it'll come on, and my saw will come on.
Okay. Well, you know, if somebody asked you, should I buy this or not, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I'd say if you're looking for a mid-range dust collection system that really traps particles, it has good suction. You can hook this up to several machines. I'd recommend it.
Okay. You know, it's interesting because you mentioned a price along the way, but what I'd like to suggest is that one of the benefits of coming to toolselect.com is we always drive you to the lowest price of the day. That's through Google API. So there's another benefit on top of the unbiased review. Real stats, real people, making it real easy to get the absolute right tool for the job.